My son Nicola had a reading for his at-home schooling here during the coronavirus shelter in place, and it mentions a tattered and worn book. And so Nicola asked me about that. What does tattered and worn mean? So I went and I grabbed a few examples. Example probably in most people's houses around here, the Bible. This is the Bible given to me way back in 1983 by the people of Liberty Baptist Church. And this Bible's barely holding together, hardly at all really. This was a Bible drill Bible. And it opens to a very nice place though. It opens to the book of Esther in the Old Testament, where there's a nice verse where the king was going to have his people kill off all of the Jews. And Mordecai explained to Esther that it was her time to speak up. And there's a beautiful verse here, chapter 4, verse 14. Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Very appropriate these days. Another old tattered book I have is The Guide to the Vascular Plants of the Florida Panhandle, written by Andy Kluhl. I've never met the guy, but this is one of my beloved botany books for identifying plants here in South Mississippi. I've taped this thing together many times, even with really good tape with twine in it. It's hardly even readable on the back. And then I pulled out the old 1956 Baptist hymnal, one that my great aunts gave to me. And it has a broken spine on number 425, which is another lovely hymn for these times. It's a hymn that says, to let yourself be used by God. Use the gifts that God has given you. And we all have very different gifts. Not all of us are preachers. Like my friend Mark Carraway, he's a preacher out on the margins, out on the byways. He's like a John the Baptist or a Will Campbell. Not everybody can be a prairie preacher like my good friend Dwayne Estes up in Tennessee, who's always out there showing people why they ought to preserve their natural heritage. But there are all kinds of other people, and we're getting to know them right now about how important they are. We never think about the kind of work they do every day, but it's important. Think about the virologist and microbiologist right now. I can't tell you how many students I've advised to take a class in virology or immunology, and I get that look like, oh, I don't want to take that. That's not really that useful. Well, I think we're all pretty happy we have some virologists and immunologists and microbiologists right now. Or mathematicians. We have one at the University of Southern Mississippi who's using 3D printers to make components of masks. Think of all the butchers, the people who are providing the meat, the grocers who are stocking the shelves and checking us out and putting themselves in harm's way to make sure that we can all keep eating. And I think anybody who's teaching at home right now is very appreciative of teachers. But another kind of people that I'm appreciative of are the musicians. I've been very blessed to see people share their music online. People like my neighbor growing up, Monroe Ginn, a classmate of mine, Lori Wicker-Stokes, and some others. And so I wanted to share with you this hymn, Where the Hymn Book Opens.
It may not be on the mountain's height or over the stormy sea. It may not be at the battle's front, my Lord will have need of me. But if by a still small voice he calls to paths I do not know, I'll answer, dear Lord, my hand in thine. I'll go where you want me to go. in the paths of sin. Some